Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing Sundial, written by Catriona Ward. This is a slow burn psychological horror. It is a very gripping and very chilling book. I really enjoyed this read. I didn't know what to expect. I never read anything from this author before. And the cover and the blurb were very interesting. So I was interested to read it. I didn't know what to expect, but what I got was so chilling, so gripping. I do recommend this story. If you like slow burn psychological horror, you will love this book. Rob is married with 2 children. She doesn't seem the most stable character. Sometimes she even seems a bit psychotic, very unbalanced, especially when she's reacting to things that her oldest daughter does. And that made for a very interesting character in Rob. Her husband, as well, isn't very stable, and their marriage isn't very good in this story. So that made very good kind of psychological aspect in this book. The marriage, the relationship between those 2 characters, because it gave Rob her motives for her actions through the whole story, and also gave motivations to the children in the story as well. And it just seems that relationship between Rob and her husband is a pivotal point that this story hangs on. Callie is the oldest child, and she's very strange. She's very quiet, keeps to herself a lot. She's very much a daddy's girl and doesn't seem to like the mother very much at all. But she has some odd behaviours. Rob finds that Callie is sketching bones, the shape of animal bones, and behind those sketches are real bones taped to paper, and she's tracing the shapes of the bones, and she has them on her wall. She also has something hidden under floorboards in her room, a decomposing skeleton of an animal. That and other things going on with Callie forces Rob to take the action she does, and she takes Callie out into the desert, into a property that Callie's parents owned called Sundial, and it's there that some of the most chilling things happen in this story. Annie is the youngest child. She's different. She seems sweeter, seems nicer, and she's more of a mother's girl than a daddy's girl. So they're the differences between the 2 children. And there's different things going on with the kids as well. And it's things that happen with the kids that is that catalyst for Rob taking Callie to the desert. The main reason Rob takes Callie to the desert is she wants time alone with her daughter. She wants to tell her daughter about her past, about the things in her past that made her who she is, to see if they can understand why Callie is like she is, and if they can turn that around before it's too late. That's the main focus of the time in the desert, and there's some very tense moments between Rob and Callie. A lot of history comes out in the story as well, and this is a book where there's chapters of history. Not my favourite way of storytelling. I don't really like chunks of history in chapters, but we get that in this book. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I prefer if the history was meshed into present day more, but I do understand why the author did it like that. It's not my favourite way of doing things in a book, but I do understand why it was like that in this book, why it's structured like that. I think it worked okay, but I don't think it's the best way to do it. This is quite a dark book as well, because while they're in the desert, it runs through Rob's mind, what will she do if she can't turn Callie around? She needs to protect Annie. Will she do the unthinkable to protect one daughter against the other? Can she do it if it comes to it? Also, Callie herself is very, very knowledgeable, very aware of what her mother's thinking and why her mother's dragged her out to the desert. And she's got her own point of view chapters as well, where she's thinking about what will she do to escape her mother if her mother tries to do something to her. So that's where you get a lot of tension going on in this story. Because even though Callie's very young, you think she's quite capable of doing something against her own mother. You get that feeling in this book. There's a huge twist in this story, which I won't go into in this video, but it's a massive twist and it hits you right between the eyes. And I found it so surprising, and I found it an amazing twist. So well written and so well planned, I thought, and just made me realise this book is so well structured and so well plotted. If it wasn't, that twist wouldn't have been so much a surprise, it would not have been a shock at all, and it wouldn't have had that power. The twist is just amazing. Read this book for the twist, if nothing else, and you'll get to see what a great twist is in a story. Rob is an amazing character in this story. Everything about her, the way the past and the present just mesh together, the way her past and present and the way her character meshes with the rest of the story, all felt so real, so natural. And that's a sign of a great character and great writing. I was totally engaged with Rob in this story, and I cared about what happened to her. I wanted her to get to the end of the story okay. That's another sign of a great character in a book. If the reader cares about what happens to the character by the end, the author's done the best job they can. Callie, the youngest child, such a chilling character, so well written. Everything about her is just brilliant in my eyes. Just the way she's introduced in the story, the way her character's brought out bit by bit, all the things about her, all the surprise things about her you see in this story. Even some things that feel a bit absurd make sense with Callie, make sense with the character she is. And I think the author planned this character very carefully. It's probably very hard to write a child character like this and have it feel so real. I wonder how long it took for the author to do that. How many times did the author redraft drafts to get to the point where she was happy enough for this character Callie to be permanently remembered in the pages? Because when you read it, Callie is so chilling for a child in this story. It shivers up your spine with some of the things that happen with Callie. And I just found that this character is probably the best child character I've read in a book for a very long time. Irving is Rob's husband in the story. He's not there for many pages, but when he's there, he makes a big impact. And I think that's just a great sign of great planning and great plotting by the author. For Irving to influence the other characters in their actions and motivations in the story, that makes him seem more impactful and larger than life in the story. And he really is. And towards the end of the story, just his scenes as well are so big and so powerful. I really like this character as well. I think almost all the characters in this story are so well written, they're almost brilliant. I thought this book was almost perfect. There are some little things in there I didn't like, but it's an almost perfect story. The main thing I didn't like is, the big chunks of past chapters. I would have preferred the past be meshed with the present more in a natural way, but I do understand why the author did what they did in writing it that way. I rate this a 4 out of 5. It's a great slow burn psychological horror story. Probably one of the best I've read for quite some time in that kind of genre, in that subgenre of horror. On my channel, I do review other horror novels. If you want to see those videos, check out my channel and subscribe. Also, there's a horror playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.